this is Russ. Well, it was bound to happen sooner or later, but it was a stupid way of happening. Yep, I fell off my bike. Let me tell you real quickly how that happened, okay? So I finished this video, which I will play for you right after this announcement, okay? And I rode around the forest preserve for a while, and then I decided, well, it's kind of drizzling a little bit. Maybe I should head home. So I'm heading back, and of course, I need to cross a major street, okay? And so, you know, I sit and I wait at the intersection like everybody else. So I'm on the sidewalk at this point. And so typically I will get off my bike and then walk across the intersection. And then I have to go to the left and make another 90-degree turn and walk across the other side, okay? So I don't typically ride over this. But when I rode up to the intersection and I stopped, it immediately turned green. So I wait to make sure there's nobody turning left into my path or nobody doing right turns right into me. And I said, well, I'm already on the bike. I might as well just ride it across. So I ride across, and as I get to the end of the intersection, I'm now across the street now, I have to get up over the curb, right? And most of these places have, you know, at every intersection there is a handicap thing to go up. So you're not jumping a curb or anything like that. You ride up the thing. The problem is, at this particular intersection, they have a traffic light there, and there's not a whole lot of room for you to ride up before you run into like bushes. So the sidewalk has very little space, okay? And I knew that. So I slow down and get ready to get off the bike and then just kind of hobble my way up. Well, the problem with that was I kind of lost balance because I was navigating going up the thing and making sure that I don't slam into something else. And so down I went. Right in front of all the cars. Now, these guys were waiting for their turn to go across the intersection, so they have a long wait, all right? So I knew I had some time, but I'm down. Everyone sees it, all right? Of course, nobody gets out of their car to help me. And I land on the left side. So that is the side where my bad knee is. So the only way to get off of this, of course, the bike is now on top of me because you're pinned by the bike. This is a 69-pound bike plus all the things that I carry in the basket. So I have to kind of push this thing off of me, and it's hard to do. The only way to do that is I have to kind of move my left leg out from underneath it and then push up. The problem is that is the knee that has been replaced, which means I now have to put my knee on the concrete, on the pavement. So yeah, that didn't feel too good. And so I eventually pushed the bike off of me and then just kind of get up and walk onto the sidewalk area. So yeah, nobody gets up and gets out of their car to help you. I'll guarantee you they're all sitting there going, oh, watch this guy fall over. Oh, well, he's down. Oh, he's struggling. He can't get out. Yeah, okay, so here's what I learned from this whole thing, okay? My leg is not strong enough yet. And that's the reason I fell, because well, getting off of the bike and everything, I had to kind of put my left leg down. And after riding for so long, you're kind of tired out from that. Plus, you don't have the leg strength still. At least I don't. I don't have the leg strength still to be able to do much to push myself off. So it doesn't have that strength. So that's what put me down. Okay. So more embarrassing than hurt. The bike sustained a little bit of damage, not much. The handlebar got a little scratched on there. The seat got a little bit of scratch. And then the new rack that I put on in the back got scratched. Now the rack, I re-spray painted black, okay, because you know I spray painted that thing, so that kind of hides any of the scratching there. But if I didn't have the rack, it would have damaged the fender, you know, with all that weight falling on it. So the rack kind of helped it because that's pretty strong. Anyways, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Got to be more careful, and definitely I'm not riding across any of these streets anymore. I'm going to walk it across. Anyways, here's the rest of the video that I did for you guys for today. Watch on. Hey, I decided rather than showing you a bike ride, I want to show you what I need to do to get ready for a bike ride. All right, it's a lot of prep work. Actually, it takes me about 10 to 15 minutes before I even leave the house. So what's the first thing that I do? Well, I got to make sure the battery has been charged and mount the battery to the camera. So let me flip this around here. So you can see the battery's right there, and so I mount that up, get that ready. Let me show you a photo here too. You'll notice that I actually chain up my bike in the garage because I don't want people stealing it out of the garage. I've heard that a lot of people who steal bikes, a lot of them are stolen right out of their garages. So I don't want that to happen, so I chain it all up, okay? And then I got to take that all apart. Here's what I do when I'm getting ready. Obviously, you know that I'm wearing a sweatshirt. I have another sweatshirt underneath. That's why I always look really, really bulky when I'm on camera with you guys. This sweatshirt is this Fisherman's Life sweatshirt. I've talked about that before from another channel. My daughter bought this for me. It's got a hoodie, so you know, that being wrapped around my neck kind of helps a little bit from the wind too. So eventually, you know, when the weather gets better, I won't have to wear the sweatshirts and stuff. But and then you might notice too that the microphone is actually attached to my helmet. Okay, and you know, when you hear a lot of wind noise, sometimes it is really windy out here, and of course, when you're riding forward, you're gathering wind too, so that's why we hear some wind noise. This Shure lavalier microphone has a really nice pop filter on there to kind of help cut some of that down. So that goes into a digital recorder. Let me show you that one here. That goes into this recorder here. This is what does the audio for me. And then I sync up this audio to the audio that's being recorded off of the camera. So what if this thing dies, and a couple times it's died on us because I've accidentally pushed the button and shut it down, at least I still have the microphone from the camera, but of course it's not as good. So I put this in its little case, I close it up, and then I put this behind my back in a little travel case thing. So sometimes accidentally I pushed too hard here, and that'll shut down the recorder. So that's usually why that thing's been stopping. So let me stick it behind me now. Hopefully it still runs. I've tried my best not to push on that section, but again, you're going by feel at this point. You don't really have an idea whether it's going in there properly or it isn't. So I just kind of put my hand back there and go by feel. All right, I'm just hoping that it's still recording. Anyways, let me show you the bike. Let me show you what I've done to the bike. You all know I put a basket on here. Let me flip myself around here again. I put a basket onto the bike. Let me take this off here. That's what the basket looks like, front basket, and it's a black one. All right. And this little thing up here, this is the camera mount that I use in case I want to put the selfie stick, which I'm using right now, put the selfie stick and face it towards me. Or I can, of course, rearrange that and mount it right onto the camera, onto the bike itself. But I've noticed whenever I do that and ride with it, it's really bouncy. That's why I use a chest mount. Let me show you the chest mount. Flippy back here. So you notice I have a chest mount here, and then the camera that's recording right now is mounted onto here. You can put a GoPro on here too, but I don't have a GoPro, so I use my standard camera. All right. Front of the thing has a light. So I've never ridden in the dark, so I don't know how good it would look like or it doesn't, but it does light up when you have that set up for it. 4-inch fat tires, front disc brakes. These are mechanical brakes, not hydraulic brakes. I added a bottle holder, and there's also a skid plate down here too, if you notice down here. And this protects the wires that's underneath there. I bought that extra. I bought that on eBay. What else did I do? I added a mirror. Okay. The only problem with this mirror, this is made by a company called Hafni. A lot of people use these. If this was longer, it would be better. I think if this stood out to maybe to the level of here, where this stood out a little bit more, maybe way out over here, you'd actually be able to see behind you better. So for me to see, I actually have to lean a little bit, move my arm out of the way so I can see behind me. The cell phone mount, I've shown you that before. The display comes with the camera, and then this is the Bluetooth. Somebody said, you know, play the Bluetooth thing. Okay, let me play a little bit. Let me turn it on here. This is for all the okay, so that was Lonely People by America, but that's a cover that I did. So if you want to hear any of my music, you can go to the description below, and there's a link to all my music on YouTube, but you could also watch it, you hear it on SoundCloud as well. The derailleurs, the controls. I also added this thing. This is kind of cool. This is a for the throttle. This is a thumb throttle. So when I'm riding, if I need the throttle, rather than twisting this thing, I just use my thumb, push down on it, and that'll throttle up the bike. So that's come in handy. That was given, there's a guy on the Rad Power Bikes forum, owners forum, I think, on Facebook. He makes these things for the members there. So I think that was like $5. So good deal. It's 3D printed. I'm always amazed by 3D printing, that they can make stuff like this. So what else? Here's the rear rack. We talked about this before. I painted this thing black, but if you look at it, it looks like military green. It does not look black. I don't know if it's the paint from Rust-Oleum that is not pure black, or whether the orange is making it look like military green. I have no idea. I could buy some more paint from another brand and turn it black, but it gives it a little character. Maybe I'll just leave it. It's my tripod up there. And I just bungee cord that to here. So overall, the bike has been doing pretty good. Yeah, it does take a little bit of time just to get ready. You know, these RadRovers are one of the most popular e-bikes. They're sounds like they're shipping again in May. Here it is in April, so that's not too bad. But I know that the Rad Mini step-through, I think they said on their website they're not shipping that until September, which means they're going to miss the entire summer season if that's the model that you're looking at. That's how popular these things are. I was lucky to get this right away. I placed my order and it shipped the next day, essentially. So yeah, it took about a week, but as you know, it took me forever to get it because I put the wrong street number on my house. FedEx figured it out. It took me 2 days longer to get it, but that's okay. So I learned a lesson. Don't be so anxious and accidentally put the wrong number. Anyways, oh, and of course I wear these gloves. The gloves will come in handy because if you fall, you've got a little bit of protection on your palms, because you usually put your hands out to break your fall. So that's good, and of course it helps cut down the wind. Let me sit down here for a bit. Cuts down the wind and makes it more comfortable when you're holding the handlebars and the like. So yeah, overall I'm having a good time with the bike. I hit 100 miles just coming up here, so this is the 100th mile video. Now they tell you at 100 miles you should do some type of maintenance on it, and so I think what I'll do is I'll check the tensions on the spokes and make sure that the brakes are sitting in properly, make sure everything is tight, nothing's loose, that type of thing. Not hard to do. You can do that. I have a spoke wrench, I can do it. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. And let me tell you too, you know, I appreciate my wife letting me get this bike. It cost us a lot more money than I think she had anticipated it to cost. It's because I keep adding things to it, but it's pretty much done at this point. The only thing that I might add is, you know, for the rear rack here, I might do those ammo cans I mentioned on the last video. I might do that. I was thinking about the panniers that people put on there, you know, the bags, but you know, the hard thing is, you know, with this front bag, even though it carries everything there, it doesn't have my chain, in case I want to lock up the bike anywhere. It doesn't have that there. I got to put it somewhere, so I'm thinking, you know, putting it down back here. Yesterday, I was watching a YouTube channel that I'd never seen before. It's called Kara and Nate. All right, and these are guys that just started traveling the world. For the last 4 years, they traveled like 100 countries. All right, and that's how they spent their lives for that time. Anyways, they had an episode, well, 4 episodes, 4 like 1 hour something episodes, where Nate decided to do the Colorado Trail on a mountain bike. Now, he hasn't ridden the bikes more than like 4 times in his whole life, but a friend of his convinced him to go, and so I've been watching that to see them do that before coming out here today. Quite inspiring to see these guys do it. It's almost 500 miles. I think because of the way they did it. They were riding over 500 miles from the southwest part of Denver all the way to Durango, Colorado. All right, they're going up and down mountains and stuff. So to see him and his brother and his friend Rick do this was pretty inspiring. Now, here's the one thing with a bad knee, okay, and being older now, I would never be able to do something like that. So I enjoy watching other guys do things like that on YouTube. That's why I like watching YouTube a lot, because it's real life stuff that people have done, and you know, you kind of live through their experience. But this is why I kind of like doing these bike rides, is because I can't do what these guys have done, but I can do at least the bike trails and things. Now, the biggest problem is this bike is humongous. Let me fling it back to the bike here. Oh, stand up, it's kind of tough. Hold on. All right. So the bike is humongous. You do need a special bike rack that goes into the back of your car, which needs a trailer hitch and everything. Now, I'm not willing to spend $400 or $500 for something like that. And to put this into the back of our SUV would probably require me to remove that front wheel, okay, and then having to lift this thing. Now, if you remove the front wheel, you remove the battery before you do it, it lowers the weight. But the bike itself weighs in at 69 pounds. I don't know how heavy that front wheel is. I know the battery is almost like 7 pounds. So let's say that 69 pounds drops down to, say, 50 pounds. That's still pretty heavy to lift into the back of an SUV, but that's really the only way I would be able to do it if I wanted to travel other than areas not too far from where I live. I am getting more used to riding on the streets, but that's riding on the streets around my neighborhood. You know, you're talking 25, 30 miles an hour type of speed limits, but you know, to get to other places, you're talking 45, 50 miles an hour. Things that you know, other cars are riding at, and you're trying to ride against that, so that's hard to do. So I've got to figure a way to get to other places. I would like to ride Bussy Woods. Okay, if you're in the Chicago area, you know where that is. I think that's Elk Grove, Illinois. I would like to go out there and ride the bike, but I don't want to ride the Bussy Woods. I want to be there and then take the bike out and ride Bussy Woods, okay? Because the ride to Bussy Woods, I wouldn't have enough battery power to ride Bussy Woods. Just to get to Bussy Woods and getting back would eat up all my battery, and maybe probably and then some. So unless you buy a second battery, which people do, I can't ride it there. I'm gonna have to kind of get my bike there and then ride the trail, okay? You know, these batteries, I think they're like $550, something like that, from Rad Power Bikes. So they're not cheap. So I don't think I want to do a second battery for that. So got to figure out a way to transport. Anyways, that's about all I wanted to say for today. I'm not going to take you out on a bike ride today, but I just wanted to highlight some things that I've learned since getting the bike. Anyways, if you liked the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll talk to you guys next time.